Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about core shimming. If you look at shimming, a lot of videos on YouTube about shimming, you'll see shimming the padlock or the lock up here on the top. This is a different technique, and it's only excuse me, it's only useful on certain padlocks. Some of the cheaper ones. This is an example right here of one that I've already shimmed in there. What is going to prevent you from shimming some locks in some cases, like this master lock commercial number 3, is there's a physical block preventing you from getting your shim in there. Maybe you can do it if you're very good at adept at manipulating things around. The other thing that would stop you is this is an example of a Schlag lock right here. The thing that stops you from getting there is the physical design of the lock. You're wanting to push the pins up beyond the shear line and hold them up there with a piece of metal. Now, where do you find this piece of metal? Well, you can get them out of the security things in a movie, for example. They're just little flat pieces of metal. These are kind of extra flimsy. They will work. Or you can buy core shims. These are a little bit sturdier, and they're kind of pre-bent to follow the shape of the core itself. That's what I'm using on this one. It's kind of ratted out, as you can see. The trick on using these is when I had to use a really this is a Sparrow's Tron. I don't work for Sparrows. I'm just identifying the stuff that I have. You push your shim down there, and it stops at like the first pin. It's hitting like the first pin. Then you take your pick, and this one I could actually shove all the way up there. I mean, way up there, past. That's the whole thing behind this. Is if you can use a comb pick on the thing, go ahead and use it. But if you can and you need to shim it, this is one way. Also, it's a bypass. Basically, it's getting past the whole picking of it. I happen to be using a pick, but you could use almost anything. Anyways, once you get the first pin done, the rest of it is gravy. I mean, you just walk down each pin stack pushing it up. I've seen people use rakes to do it fast and quickly. You're using one hand like this, holding it on and kind of like wedging it, and the other one pushing it down. Now, the way you can determine whether or not it's going to be shimmable or not is just you take your core shim. This may be too many. I don't know how many there is in here. That's one. You take your core shim and you try to push it. This body of this little lock is too tiny for this one, although they look the same. Anyways, I push it on the side, which this is a master lock number 3 non-commercial, and you see how that can just slide in. If it goes all the way in, see that going all the way in, then theoretically you should be able to get it up over there, unless they built something in there. You should be able to get it up over on the pin stack, and kind of like shimming the hasp itself. You could get over here and try to shove the pin number 1 up over while you're wedging this over, and if it gets past it, then it's possible. You can also go straight down with it, but I think there's a ledge or something there. I may be wrong. Anyways, I haven't messed with the master lock number 3, but I have messed with this one. Why you would want to use on a cheap padlock, I don't know. But anyways, it's just demonstrating something. Once you get in there, you've got to be careful that you don't bend your pick, but pow. I mean, the core shim, it basically it's a bypass. Now, when you turn it, it's going to move these on the stack, so if you wanted to do it again, you may have to, no, you can reposition it, but you're not putting a whole lot of force on your pick. It's basically, you're like a key. And once that's shimmed, it'll open like that. You won't be able to do it on locks like this, for example. So don't even think about it. But for the cheap ones, you can. The trick, like I said again, is just finding the right thing. The principle is also along the lines of a comb pick, which works on a Master Lock number 140. This one's a 4-pin, but I've also had a 5-pin comb work on it. If you can get past the warding, which on the 140 you can, you're not raking anything. You're basically just positioning this up into those stacks and turning it. This one may be shimmable with a core shim, but I think the lock is built with a little ledge right over here that if you push your shim on this thing, you'll stop right away. You won't be able to go down the side like you will on that number 3. And the same thing goes for a number 5. It too has a sloppy little core in there, and it looks like it might be shimmable, but this will have to be another video because I'm running long on this. I just wanted to demonstrate core shimming. You can also use that when you're disassembling a lock to help keep the pins from falling out, but this is the main thing for like a bypass of a lock. Is once you got it shimmed, it really does take a lot longer than picking the lock many times, but sometimes these locks are challenging because they have such small warding and everything. You may not be able to get in there. Anyways, thank you for watching, and keep it safe and legal, or else I don't know what. Anyways, I'm not a cop.